Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Rags to Riches episode with Basingstoke. We had a productive preseason, I would say, a very productive preseason. As you can see, matches are already underway. The first match of the season has already occurred, and Walsall took the win over Charlton. Surprisingly, in fact, as I believe Charlton is a higher rated team over Walsall. And see, finance-wise, we brought back a whole butt ton of money in the preseason, but we never actually got out of debt. I think the closest we got was 113 or something like that was the highest we got. But that was obviously not at the monthly check. The monthly checks were just over 200,000 under. And so we start this season $500,000 in debt. Woo! That's going to be great. And despite this, the club still hands me $420,000. Well, $153,000, but more because I decreased the bonus payouts for the league and the cup, and $17,000 per week. Like, come on, guys! Don't hand me this kind of money and then run the club to ruin. It's the story of every. You guys know how it's going. You guys have heard the story by now, plenty of times. The chairman's an idiot. Plain and simple. The chairman is an idiot. So, anyways, aside from that, so we looked good in our preseason training. We had 3 TV matches: Tottenham, Arsenal, Manchester City. We looked strong against them. Barely lost to Nottingham Forest. Beat Middlesbrough. They are a championship team. And barely lost to Leeds. We took it away against Brighton, who is in League One, competing against us. So that definitely bodes well for us. And then USBCO beat them handily. Farnborough crushing our rivals. Worked out great. Bristol Rovers beat them quite handily. Dagon Red crushed them. Feels good. And actually ended up getting a draw with Birmingham, who is again a championship team. So we're faring well against championship teams. We're holding our own against Premier League teams, and against teams that are of equal or lesser league, we are crushing them. So that feels really good. This season feels like it could end up being real solid. The team has been updated. There were some players added, some players left. Most notably, you'll notice Mark Ethelson is no longer on the team. Sold him for $100,000. Really sad to see him go, but at the same time, we have so many defender centers. We just, like, he was beyond surplus to requirements. He really was not needed anymore. He was a fan favorite. However, he had performed so poorly last season in the fans' eyes that they actually weren't upset at all that we sold him, especially since we got a good price for him. We sold him for value. So worked out great on that end. So again, we brought in Ali Tunkara. We were not able to get Guillermo Yao. Work permit failed there. But yeah, we got Tunkara, we got Ferguson, and brought in Zach Jules from Reading. He's a solid defender for the league, so hopefully he will continue to do well. He historically has done well at this level, so we'll see if he continues to do well. Don't think there's anyone else we brought in. Oh, Denilson Carvalho. So Brazilian, 20 years old. He has, in my opinion, he has great stats. So I don't know why he's 2 stars, because I think he has great stats. So I'm looking forward to playing him and getting him some first-team experience, and hopefully his star rating will go up, because, again, I think he has fantastic stats, especially for an attacking midfielder. So right now we're training him for quickness, but if we can get his quickness up a little bit more, I feel like he could really wreck it. And his mental stats. Need to get his mental stats up more. But, again, I feel like he can wreck it. He's a solid player. Let's see. No tactic changes. No major changes all around. Talked to the board. I asked again for a senior affiliate. They said no. And in fact, against my wishes, they expanded the scouting range to cover the entire world. So now we can scout the entire world, but we can't get a senior affiliate. It's a very frustrating situation. I really did not want the club to expand their scouting range. I don't think we can handle it, but the board expanded it, and that's that. It sucks, but that's just the case. Um, yes. So our finances, right? So currently we're under a transfer embargo due to breach of financial fair play. So what happened? If I don't even know where I can find that information because I never have to look at it. But basically, what happened is because our turnover was so terrible last season, we are spending about $2,000 per week more on player salaries than we are allowed to. And this has placed a transfer embargo on the club until we fix the problem. What that means for the club is I cannot bring more players in at all. I cannot bring in loan players. I cannot bring in free transfers. I cannot buy any players. I'm not allowed to do anything bringing players into the club without first fixing the financial fair play regulation. And I understand why that exists. It's just a little frustrating, you know? I'm happy we finally got our finances to okay. Actually, last time I saw them, they were insecure, but now they're back up to okay, so I'm feeling good about that. But aside from our finances sitting at okay instead of insecure, we still need to get our financial fair play fixed. And that's not going to be easy. The under 21s players, the homegrown under 21s, do not count at all. So we have to figure out some way to cut the salary of all these players. Figure out some way to do that because as it stands, this is not. It's not going to be easy. I mean, we can dump Musque. We can, but that's only 500 per week. That's not going to be good enough. Kieran Fenton, maybe it's 1,000 per week. Like the players we can afford to get rid of aren't making that much money anyways, and an argument could definitely be made for the fact that we cannot afford to get rid of them. I mean, if you look at these 4 people who are just sitting down here, they are like third string backups for the rest of the team. They can fit nearly every position, which means if we have an injury, they can fill in, and that's great. That's exactly what a good team should have, a little bit of team depth. The problem is, if we sell any of those players, we lose depth in that position. The reason why I'm saying we can afford to sell Musque out of anybody else is because we have Bassett and Noor who can also play striker. I could sell Musque for 105,000. I had some offers for him for 105,000. You can see he's wanted. I could sell him for 105. I mean, that's fine and great, but it's not good enough. That's tempting. It's absolutely tempting. But I've not decided whether or not I'm going to get rid of Musque yet. It's a tough choice. In the transfer market, you can go ahead and look at the transfer history for the entire club. So again, we brought in Ferguson, Jules, Tunkara, and Carvalho, and leaving Gibezi, Ethelson, Johnson, all for money. We sold Gary McCracken to Eastbourne Borough. He was a decent player. He was actually 1 gold star when we had him, but I guess that's gone down. Whatever. We finally dumped Callum Kennedy, thank goodness. He went to Nuneaton, which is interesting because Nuneaton is a Vanarama North side. So I'm glad to see him go. Paul Morrison went back to Scotland. He's a decent player. He had a decent future, but he wasn't improving very much, so we got rid of him. 2 players off to York. Brian McFarland and Adam Franklin. which I find to be interesting. McFarland is decent. He's actually like better than what York should be having. Franklin's right on par with what York should be having, but Brian McFarland is definitely better than what York should be having. So congrats on them for picking him up. Kamanzi and Sam Johnson contract expired. Cal Smith was actually moved to the MK Dons as a backup winger, which I find to be interesting because he's not that good. Daniel Lewis off to Kingstonian. Here's hoping he does well. Ozer Ozdemir went to Oldham. Richard Duffy to Chester. And Aaron Burns on a free transfer. And no one's picked him up yet because he's expensive. He's way too expensive. He needs to lower his salary expectations or he's never going to get a club again, to be honest. Staff-wise, we lost some staff members, but we picked up some new ones. So let's go and look at all staff. So we have a new director of football. Like I said, our old director of football, he retired. He was 69, didn't want to be in there anymore. So we have a new director of football, Adam Boulder. He's actually a pretty awesome director of football, if I'm going to be honest with you. Player ability and potential, 15-16 with 14 determination and 13 discipline. I think this guy is going to be an amazing director of football for us, so I'm looking forward to it. We also signed him on as a coach because, again, he has great determination, great motivating, and he's good with youngsters. He's not going to be a fantastic coach. He's just not. But we need more coaches to fill up the fact that right now a lot of our coaches are under a heavy strain. So he just kind of helps take some of that weight off. We have his first non-playing role. He was actually still a player at North Ferriby. He was player staff at North Ferriby. Been there for 5 years. And we went ahead and bought him. It's like, hey, we'll sign you on as a director of football and you can hang up your boots. And he came on over. We also brought in... I don't think we brought in anyone else. We renewed a lot of contracts. We were going to bring in other people, but the board said no. Because we don't have a head of youth development, which is kind of a problem. And we also don't have an under-18s physio, which is less of a problem. Like I can live without an under-18s physio. But a head of youth development I would like to have, but the board will not let me get anybody right now. So, understandable. That's the board's not, or the club's not in a great financial situation. I totally get it. But we'll see. I do want the head of youth development. We'll see if I can finagle that by mid-season. Really kind of depends on financial fair play. Something else I was going to look at and I forgot. Oh, we did change our training. So instead of working on strictly match tactics, we're now working on teamwork. I kind of feel like teamwork is going to be pretty important now. Now more than ever. Looking at our schedule, actually. So we're starting as Rockdale. That's the match we have today. First match in the Capital One Cup is against Leyton Orient. They're a League One side, so I'm hoping to do well against them. Our first Johnstone's Paint Trophy match is unknown. I believe that will be determined today. Maybe. Don't remember. But that'll be determined very soon. And FA Cup coming in. Don't know who we're going against there. End of the season. Our final match will be against Oldham away. We actually end our season with 2 away matches, which is going to be rough. But we have 5 home matches in a row here. Like, what's up with that? Don't get me wrong, I'm happy about it, but that's like all of December almost. We have home matches, so I'm excited for that. It'll be a good time. That's what I'm hoping. It'll be a good time. I do remember what I wanted to look at now. Question is, can I get there? I think it's competition performance. No. Competitions. There it is. Ha! Found it. Okay. Holy cow. Okay, so, League One. We are to avoid relegation, and the board said that. They didn't say attempt to avoid. They just said you will avoid. It's like, okay, sure. I guess. FA Cup. All we have to do is reach the first round. We enter in the first round, so that'll just that'll be achieved immediately, no problem there. Don't be outclassed in the Capital One Cup, which means probably you should beat Leyton Orient, or at least put on a good showing. And Johnstone's Paint Trophy reached the quarterfinal of the Johnstone's Paint Trophy. Now, if you remember, we've gone out every year in basically the first round of the Johnstone's Paint Trophy. I don't know what it is about the Johnstone's Paint Trophy, but we have not performed well at all. It's a competition that's not been kind to us, and the board would like us to reach the quarterfinal. So that's not gonna go well. We'll see what happens. I will try my hardest to reach the quarterfinal, but historically, the Johnstone's Paint Trophy has not been kind. It really is not. But we enter on the South second round, which is really not very far along. So we have the quarterfinal, semifinal, final. I guess we just have to win one match and make it to the quarterfinal, because there's the South final and semifinal. There's also like the overall final between the two as well, between North and South. But I guess all we have to do is make it to the South quarterfinal. And if that's the case, we only have to win one match, and I think that should be doable. You know, we'll probably get a League 2 side as our matchup, and it won't be a problem. But again, we'll see come mid-season how we did in the Johnstone's Paint Trophy. And aside from that, we can go ahead and jump down. So in the South, current teams that are in the South, so you can see who moved up. I'm not sure who did, but you can see who moved up in the North and the South. And then in League 1, season preview, we're actually not projected last, which surprised me. Dagon Red won the league, and they're predicted dead last. Plymouth came up with us, as I recall, as did Fleetwood. And they both finished below us, and they're ranked higher. In fact, in order of where they finished, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. I find that very odd. But apparently Dagon Red is looking to not do super well this season, and I'm curious about that. We're in a completely different odds bracket from the rest of the relegation zone, though, so we stand actually a pretty good chance, according to the odds makers, to actually avoid relegation. We'll be fighting against Rockdale, our first opponent, and Cambridge. Could also easily be fighting against Plymouth, Wycombe, Oldham, Colchester, and Fleetwood as well. So watch this 14 down. Watch these teams, as we could actually finish maybe as high as 14th and still have that be reasonable. Leyton Orient's poised for 11th. Again, our first match in the Capital One Cup. A bit of a tougher team, mid-table team. But that doesn't mean we don't stand a chance. To avoid relegation, you got to win some matches, right? So we're up against an equal strength team. Rockdale, supposedly an equal strength team. And Dagon Red, for some reason, has the worst odds, 100-1. But you know what? Congrats to them for winning the league. Apparently they didn't deserve it. We'll see. You know, we'll find out. There are 4 relegation places. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, guys, I believe that covers everything. There shouldn't be anything else to mention for now, so... Oh, hey, look at that. Yeah, this thing. This is important stuff. If you guys actually care about this, this is actually pretty cool stuff. But, anyways... Oh, yes, we relayed the field. We relayed it just before the Tottenham match, actually. And it's already at okay. It was perfect about a month ago. Well, that's alright. Anyways, guys, so that's going to do it for the episode. I will see you guys in the mid-season come January, around the 1st of January, thereabouts. So if you like the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. It's the best thing you can do for the channel. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time with some more Basingstoke Rags to Riches. I just remembered Ivory Coast. So we're going to be against Niger or Ethiopia in the World Cup qualifiers Africa's second round. That's what we drew there. And we've been kicking butt. We've been kicking a lot of butt, and I'm totally happy with the Ivory Coast team. We moved up. If I can I forget how to look at stuff when I'm on camera, gosh dang it. Anyways, we moved up. We're 11th right now, so we have an all-time high. And we're only 3 points behind Ukraine, so we could hit top 10, conceivably, after this World Africa Cup. If we win it, we could move into a top 10 position. I'm super psyched to get Ivory Coast moving up into a place like that. Oh my goodness. We'll see, though. It's again, we have some friendlies to do, and the World Cup qualifiers Africa second round against Niger, who is ranked 169th, or Ethiopia, ranked 135th. I think we're going to be all right. So again, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time, and DFTBA.